So recently I've been watching a TV show called Fargo, which if you've seen, then you know it's an amazing, crazy show. But it's also kind of dark. It's like a dark comedy and drama, crime drama. But it's based on real events that took place in Minnesota in recent history. So I highly recommend that. My friend Edward was the one that told me to watch it, and I watched the first season. I really liked the first season. I'm about halfway through the second season. I feel like it's not as good, but I'm hoping it's going to pick up. Like, I still have 3 episodes until it ends, and each season is not connected, so they're different storylines. Anyways, I'm not going to talk too much about that. You should watch it if you want. It's pretty cool. But my friend Edward told that. Now more about that guy. So we were going around Zhenjiang, our city, in the Chinese Uber, which is called Didi, and we were in the back seat, and we were just, conversating. And then I was saying a bunch of stuff. I don't know what I was talking about. We were kind of drunk, but he was like, "Derek, you shouldn't say all those things. I don't want to talk about that right now." I was like, "Edward, we're speaking English. You think the taxi driver can understand our English when we're talking full speed at native levels?" And he's like, "Dude, they can understand more than you think." And I was just like, "What? Really? You really think like that?" So I give him a long spiel on how I think that that's not the case. But I understand. When I first came to China, I thought that Chinese English ability was a lot better than they let on. But now I think I've gotten to understand. I've spent so much time with my Chinese girlfriend, and I understand, learning English is just as hard for Americans learning Chinese. But they have more time in school and everything, but they don't have the environment to practice English every single day. There's not that many foreigners in China. It's a very homogenized society. And, I did tell my girlfriend about it, though, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Edward thinks that? That's so funny." He thinks that all the Chinese, are thinking that they know about foreigners and the foreigners' English and anyways, yeah, I thought it was funny. Anyways, I'm not trying to go off on a tangent on that, because what I'm trying to talk about is the other day on Facebook, I see this headline. I'll show a clip.
And it's so difficult to predict the future. 99.99% of the predictions that human being had in history about the future, all wrong.
Including that one?
Oh yeah. Only, the 0.00% of the prediction are right. They're right because by accident.
Yeah, but it's also true that 80% of statistics are false.
Yeah. So my meaning is
cold room. Come on, guys. That was a joke.
I'm happy about the...
When Elon Musk realized China's richest man is an idiot, Jack Ma, and they do a 5-minute montage of assorted clips, which does the entire interview a disgrace just to get some cheap laughs. And thankfully, this isn't really big, but it's still a really frustrating for me to see this. I've watched the whole interview, and one of the things that I noticed right off the bat is I was disappointed that Elon Musk didn't he's not very familiar with speaking to Chinese people in English. When you speak to Chinese people in English, you have to realize you got, number 1, tone down your vocabulary. Number 2, speak slower. Number 3, just try to let them set the pace of the conversation, and you're gonna have to be patient, and try not to use a bunch of idioms and phrasal adverbs and a bunch of things that we use all the time. Yeah, just talk slower. Sometimes they use a more formal register because they know those words more. But Jack Ma's English in this he kept it pretty simple, and it wasn't too complex. I thought it wasn't so bad, but I just thought it was a shame, and maybe they shouldn't have been talking to each other, or they were just talking for fun. But it seemed like Elon Musk wanted to make it a debate. But there's definitely parts when you know that. When Elon, he thinks his joke falls flat, but really, the Chinese, they just don't understand the joke, or, he's talking so quickly that, or maybe, in Chinese culture, the joke just isn't funny. It's just, cultural differences and stuff. You gotta, be patient and understand it. He doesn't have all these, So I left, some comments, too. You can just read the comments if you want to, hear my real thoughts on it. But, yeah, I watched the full interview. Yeah, Well, hopefully, if Elon Musk's Neuralink is successful, then we won't even have these problems and breakdowns in language, because we can just use our thoughts to directly communicate with each other, which sounds extremely crazy and is extremely crazy. Like, in theory, who knows if that's ever going to be possible, but, you know, if we start sticking enough wires in our brains at some point, like, hopefully we can, well, you know, hopefully, if you want that to be, you'll be at the point where you can be a cyborg enough to, yeah, communicate, I don't know, however you want, just from one person to another person. Anyways, so that aside, the next thing I want to talk about is, oh yeah, this is the good story. So recently it's been my spring break from my university. I've had 3 months off from the university and it's all paid, but I have so much free time, so I thought, why not get in a part-time job? Stop texting me. I'm doing a video right now. Okay, why not get a part-time job while I'm in spring break? So I go to a school and I started teaching like 15 hours each week, like on the weekends. And, you know, it was advertised by one of my foreign buddies, well, another foreigner here, on a group chat. And he said, no lesson planning. Well, I have to lesson plan, and it's kind of a lot of work. But whatever, I'm making like 200 RMB an hour, like, so I thought it was pretty good money. That's like 28 US dollars an hour. I thought like that's pretty good use of my time. Maybe not after lesson planning is accounted for, but anyways, it's good for me to learn because I'm teaching like the same thing, which is the International English Language Testing System, or IELTS is the acronym for short. And that's something to enable people to go abroad and work or study in other countries, English speaking countries. It's pretty like strict. So anyways, I've been teaching that. Oh, man, I've been getting way too long-winded on that. Anyways, so I'm teaching at this school, and I just finished one of my classes, and I'm chilling there waiting for my next class to start. And then this guy strides into the school, and he like looks at me, and he's like, sir, I need you to show me your passport. I'm with the Jinjiang immigration. And he shows me a badge, and I was like, I don't have my passport right now. Like, the Labor Bureau has it. You know, we're in the middle of getting a new visa for the university that I work at. And then, like, he sits down. He, like, and I was like, let me show you my receipt. And he's like, no, don't touch your phone. Don't touch your phone. And I was like, no, but my receipt is, like, under, like, it's, like, in the case of my phone. Like, I thought that was a really good place to keep it because I'll always have my phone with me. And so, like, I give it to him. And I was like, did I do something wrong, sir? And he's like, of course. I'm taking you to the police station. And there's another foreigner there, like this Pakistani guy, and like the police guy that hauled us off the police station, like in his car, like he was so strict. He took away our phones, and the Pakistani guy's just like talking in the back seat, and he's like, and the police officer's like, no talking, and the Pakistani guy's like, dude, seriously, man, what the heck? Why can't we just talk? And we wait a while, and they drag us to like this room where there's like a jail cell, there's like bars, but the door's open. They don't put us behind the bars, they just put us in front of the bars, and we sit in these chairs, and they're like, no smoking, and there's like cigarette butts like littering the floor everywhere. There's mosquitoes in there. It was really like dingy. The Pakistani guy, like, he looks at me and he's like, no smoking. This guy's like chain smoking, and he's looking at me. He's like, you better not rat me out. Just say you don't know anything. And apparently, like, the Pakistani guy's there. And then the interpreter comes over, and of course his English, that's his job. His English is really good. And him and the Pakistani guy start talking together. And he's like, oh, I see you again. I think I've seen you before. And the Pakistani guy's like, oh, I don't think I've seen you before. And it took me a little while to realize that they're like just joking around and shit. Like, the interpreter's like, oh, I'm gonna deport you this time. And the Pakistani guy's like, no, man, please, I've been in China for 4 years, and I just need another few months until I graduate, and I have a Chinese girlfriend, and she's gonna become a Muslim too, and blah 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 blah. And the guy's like, no, I'm gonna deport you. No, I'm gonna deport you. And I was just like, is this like, I don't know who to trust. And then they dragged me to another room, and like they're interrogating me, and it's like the really good English guy, the interpreter, and then like the semi-good English guy, which was the strict police officer guy that dragged us all there. And so they're like kind of doing good cop, bad cop, and like he's asking me these interview questions like in English, like he's like behind the computer just typing, and he's like, so how much money did you make? How long have you been teaching there? Who told you about it? What are your boss's names? Just, asking me all these questions, and I was trying to comply because the HR guy, like the guy that's sort of like my boss, this guy that I talk to a lot. He always, that guy, he's a Chinese guy. His English is pretty good. He always talks in like a very calm voice, like, oh, don't worry about this. Oh, everything will be okay. Like, and he said, oh, Derek, just like try to like, cooperate with them. So I was like telling them like the truth. But he also told me, he's like, just tell them that you're volunteering at our school, okay? Like, it's just volunteering. And so I told like the interviewer, oh, I'm just volunteering. And he's like, dude, come on, don't do that. We know you're not volunteering. Just tell us the truth. And I was like, no, I'm volunteering. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, apparently, okay, I'm making like 200 maybe, but I haven't got paid yet. So I'm not breaking any laws. I haven't got paid yet. And I was like, I missed my mealtime. I was kind of hungry, so I was kind of getting a little like defensive and I didn't really know who I could trust, and I was like kind of like breaking down a little bit. Oh man, because I didn't want to like go to jail, and like I wasn't sure what I should say. He's like, okay. I was like, can I leave? When am I free to go? And he's like, oh yeah. At one point, I was like, yo, Lu Shima. Which means like, is there a lawyer? And he was like, what did you say? And then I repeated it. And he's like, oh, you want a lawyer? You can buy a lawyer. This isn't America. We don't just give you a lawyer. And I was like, okay, maybe I don't need a lawyer. I was like, can I just go? And he's like, you can go after this interview. And so like he types up the interview questions, like and one of them was like, the last interview question was like, do you promise that you'll never do this again? Like, this is a legal activity. You're illegally working 2 jobs, or like you're teaching outside of your second job. That's the thing. It's not just making money, he said. Just teaching outside of what I'm allowed by Chinese law to teach is illegal. Because what if I'm like an extremist terrorist that's teaching like propaganda to the Chinese children, So he said that. And they're typing this up. Do you promise not to do this again? And I was like, I don't know. Can I just ignore that question? And he's like, yeah, you can ignore this question. I was like, what? So which questions am I required to answer? Like, I'm just so confused, like what I'm supposed to be doing and what I shouldn't be doing or how to do this, So he's like, do you need another translator? Like, and I was like, well, could I call my girlfriend? He's like, yeah, you can call your girlfriend. Because they didn't give us our phones. And I was like, can I call her? And he's like, you can call her after you sign it. I was like, can I call her before I sign it? Because he printed, so we had the interview in English, but he printed out these papers in Chinese. Like, whatever my answer was, he would write it in Chinese, and then he would tell me to like translate it using this app on my phone so I could figure out what it's saying in English, so I know what I'm signing, But I call my girlfriend, and she sort of like talks to him, and I don't remember all the details because really, like, I was flustered. I was super flustered, and I was like, okay, woman, what should I say? And she's like, just tell them you don't know. You don't know anything. That's what I told him. You didn't know anything. You didn't know you did anything wrong. And I was like, okay. So that was my story. And finally, like, they let us go. And the training school's like, oh, there's nothing to worry about, Derek. Like, whatever. Like, and a few, like, hours later, like, later that night, they're like, yeah, Derek, the immigration, they just do that to scare us. Like, don't believe it. Like, don't even worry about it. We've got it all under control. Don't worry about it. That happens all the time. And I was just like, okay, but they're the law. And I could eventually get deported for like messing with them, or get fined like 5,000. They said they could fine me 5,000 to 20,000 RMB, which is like 800 to 3,000 US dollars. But yeah, they said, Derek, don't worry about that. We'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow for your class tomorrow, okay? Don't forget about your class. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable coming to class tomorrow. I'm gonna take a break, take a chill pill until you guys get the papers straightened out, because I'm not gonna, be a criminal. I'm not trying to be a criminal. The last thing I want to talk about is last week, I watched the Game Changers documentary. It's on Netflix. It's about like a plant-based diet and like eating meat versus eating vegetables, and even athletes, like super athletes that are vegan, they are super ripped, super strong. They're doing really well. So I want to do that too. And But I will say that eating a plant-based diet has forced me to cook a lot more, like whole foods and plant-based meals. And, you know, I don't have that temptation, or I don't have that luxury, that privilege to just order KFC or chicken all the time, like fried chicken and crap food, because if I'm trying to eat a plant-based diet. So that's forced me to cook a lot more, which is really good. It's really cost effective. It's super cheap. So many like vegetarian meals are so cheap. Like I just bought so many lentils and beans and garbanzo beans, well, chickpeas, whatever, and pinto beans. I bought all that stuff on online because it's not really at my local grocery store, like very cheap anyway. And so I'm gonna try this meal prepping that I found on video. I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, it's super cheap. It's extremely cheap. I have a lot of free time, so I should be doing it. It's like super healthy, super cheap. It just takes like some time, but you know, whatever. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be good. So I'm stoked about that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good week. You stay healthy and happy. I've been going to the gym a lot. Sort of. I'm trying to do more of the stuff that gets me ripped, gets me strong. It's been good though. I've been enjoying it. So yeah, you take care. You have a good day. See you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.